For more now on Venezuela and the U.S. role in conflicts overseas, we're joined by California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. Certainly a lot going on. Let's start with the War Powers Resolution. You're, of course, one of the co-sponsors of this legislation and been trying for several months, in fact, to get a vote on this. Today, the Senate narrowly agreed to bring a resolution to the floor requiring that the Trump administration get congressional authorization for military operations in Venezuela. Were you expecting this to pass after it failed last month?
I was expecting it to be a close vote, but I think, frankly, what may have pushed it forward were the president's own words. The fact that not only has this morphed from a supposed operation about stopping drug-running ships, but now it's all about the oil, and not just about the oil, but the president says that we may be taking on leadership, the running of another country, for years. And I think that open-ended, indefinite commitment was a lot more than Republicans were bargaining for. So I think we had certainly a bigger margin than what I was expecting. I thought it would be very close. But now we're going to have a real fulsome debate in the Senate. If they believe that we ought to risk the lives of U.S. service members to secure oil resources in another country and try to rebuild that country, let them make the case for it. Let them come to Congress and request that authority.
Trump immediately attacked the 5 Republicans who voted with Democrats today. What do you make of this? Does this seem to signal a potential break with the president? Because typically we have seen these votes really be consistent along party lines.
Well, it is already a break of sorts among these Republicans, and I think the concern is growing. Now, the president and his vehement reaction to this, the threat against these lawmakers that essentially they'll be primaried if they vote against him or having voted against him, it shows how significant the president believes that this departure is. He's saying this law is unconstitutional. That is the War Powers Act. It's not. He's saying he will veto the bill if it passes in the House as well as the Senate. That he may do, but nevertheless, you can see how significant he believes this is to have members of his own party voting to say, no, this is not what the American people bargained for. You campaigned on America first. You campaigned again against regime change wars and nation building exercises. And now we're going to embark on another. And for what purpose? For oil. So I think it's very significant.
Let's talk about the Affordable Care Act. The House today approved a 3-year extension of those subsidies, and there's word of a possible compromise forming in the Senate. What's the latest? Will Americans who've seen their health care bills already start to spike be getting any relief?
Well, I certainly hope so. I hope that passage in the House creates a certain momentum in the Senate. I'm skeptical that Senate Republicans are really ready, willing to do this. We haven't seen any indication of that from Majority Leader Thune. I will be surprised if they're willing to take up a clean extension. They should, but we'll see. Frankly, these conversations, though, should have taken place last year. It should have taken place before healthcare costs exploded. They knew this was going to happen, so this is very late. Nevertheless, I hope we can take up that clean extension and pass it in the Senate.
And lastly, your reaction to that fatal shooting of a mother in Minneapolis yesterday by an ICE officer.
You know, it's heartbreaking. It's horrifying and it's heartbreaking. This mother who dropped off her kid at school, not part of any protest, ends up being in the wrong place at the wrong time and gets shot and killed by an ICE agent. Now, I've looked at the video. This requires, obviously, a full investigation. But it certainly seems to me that the use of force there was not justified. She was turning away from the officer. She, in fact, earlier was waving traffic through, seemed very compliant. And nevertheless, we now have another casualty in the president's aggressive, deliberately provocative deployment of ICE forces around the country. This is not making communities safer. It is just aggravating the situation and creating unnecessary loss of life.
California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.